Welcome to the Solid Verbal. The Solid Verbal.
Come after me! I'm a man! I'm 40!
I've heard so many players say, well, I want to be happy. You want to be happy for a day? Eat a steak.
It's that woo-woo!
And now, Dan and Ty.
Welcome back to the Solid Verbal, boys and girls. My name is Ty Hildenbrandt, joining me as always over there in beautiful New York City, my man, Dan Rubenstein. Sir, how are you?
First of all, before I commit, I want to thank my friends, my family, obviously everybody up above, every coach who recruited me. It's been a weird process, Ty, but for the next 63 or so minutes...
Are we getting an announcement ceremony here?
I am committing to the Solid Verbal.
Whoa!
I am committing to you and the Verballers and the Verballer sphere. It's a relief, Ty.
Are you putting the dad hat on as we speak?
I am putting... I wish I had a bucket hat. That would be wonderful. I wish I had that bucket hat. But no, Ty, early signing day. I'm pretty excited.
The Future Transfers of America signing day.
Oh, that's so mean and accurate.
Today, it is the early signing period. It was enacted last year for the first time. I believe the early signing period is between today, we're recording on December the 19th, and it ends on Friday, the 21st, actually the first day of winter. So we will, over the next minutes or so, however many minutes this show goes, talk in some level of detail about what has transpired, who signed where, what some of the big storylines are coming out of the first day of this early signing period. Absolutely things to discuss on that front. We also got more bowl games to get through. Dan got a handful of those that we want to talk through. We've got our bowl preview show today. We've got a bowl preview show coming up on Sunday that will drop on Sunday. That's going to be the playoff preview, by the way, for those of you who have written in wondering, when are you going to talk about the playoffs? It's going to be on Sunday. Okay. And then we've got another show. We got one more bowl preview show after that. I'm not sure if we want to drop that on Sunday with the playoff show or if we want to drop it the day after Christmas, but it's going to be recorded. It's going to be available. So
what does that include? What does the post-playoff show include preview-wise?
Good question. Okay, so the playoff show is going to run from the 29th, which is when the playoff games are, through New Year's Eve, which of course is the 31st. And then the show after that would run from some of the other games on New Year's Eve. So we're breaking New Year's Eve up a little bit, but basically from the Liberty Bowl through the Sugar Bowl. Gotcha. Is what we're looking at, which would be on New Year's Day.
So that's the New Year's 6 and surroundings.
Yeah, we got about 8 games per show that we're going to try to break down for you.
Love it. And listen, even if we're not specifically requesting it on Reddit or Facebook or Twitter, what have you, throw the questions in anywhere that you consume the Solid Verbal online, because we're going to try to season these episodes with 2 or 3 questions each time, because obviously we have declarations and injuries and storylines to address. So if something is scratching your brain about a specific angle, about something related to, say, the Citrus Bowl, throw us a question. We'll address it that way.
Throw us those stanky questions. solidverbal@gmail.com, as always, is how you can get in touch with us. But we're also out there on Twitter @solidverbal. We're also out there on Facebook, facebook.com/solidverbal. We've got an Instagram where we post funny stuff. We've got the Reddit. Yeah, all sorts of ways that you can get in touch with us. We're going to be here all throughout bowl season, talking through all these games, these results, breaking it down. But we should start, Dan, because it is early signing day.
Yeah.
With our breaking news. I'm not going to yell it.
Boop, 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 boop.
I'm trying to be respectful of the young men who made some very important decisions today. We should talk through these and do a bit of a signing day rundown here.
And we should point out, after the full signing period, so that's what, early February is the final signing day.
Right.
That's when we will have on Brandon Huffman, dear friend of the show, to recap everything and sort of look at this from a 10,000 foot angle. But this is most of what's happening is happening today as we record this on Wednesday, but we will review it in sort of more specific detail then as well.
So let me do this just to give you a general framework of what we're looking at here on the recruiting trail. Your number one team, who would have guessed, the surprise of the century, we've got Alabama currently as the number one rated recruiting class for the 2019 class, followed by Georgia, surprise, surprise, followed by a couple other teams that are of note. Texas A&M. Texas A&M with a really strong recruiting class.
Yes.
We'll talk a little bit about that. LSU, really strong recruiting class, getting the number one cornerback in the nation, a local kid. Oregon, your Oregon Ducks, rounding out the top 5. Big class for the Ducks so far, followed by Clemson, Michigan, Oklahoma, Texas at 9, and my Penn State Nittany Lions at number 10. Notre Dame, by the way, in case you're wondering, they're currently at 13, behind Ohio State, which is at 12. So with that as the backdrop, Dan, what were some of the storylines that emerged from the first day of early signing?
So just a shocker in Alabama, closing mostly incredibly strong, an incredibly strong fashion. They get the number one running back in the country, and Trey Sanders from IMG. I believe they get his teammate, who is a top flight offensive lineman, also obviously from IMG. His name, I believe, is Evan Neal. He is super big. He's like 6'7.5", 370 before going into Alabama and getting, ripped and shredded and everything like that. Georgia has a completely historic class last season, and they follow it up with a class that's merely stupid excellent. And that's highlighted by Nolan Smith, the number one overall player per the 24/7 composite rankings. He's an edge rusher and just everything you could possibly want, and Georgia has had those types of players recently, so he is that guy of the future. They also got to flip Dwan Mathis, who was a quarterback he's from Michigan, committed to Ohio State, flipped, probably the news of Justin Fields transferring, which we'll discuss momentarily, had something to do with the depth at Georgia and them chasing. So he ends up at Georgia, and, a focus on line play at Georgia. A&M, really strong class receivers, but just mostly defense, especially a pair of safeties. LSU did very, very well. You mentioned the cornerback, but they also signed John Emery, who was a Georgia flip, and he is local. Oregon did a really good job, a lot on defense, a lot at receiver. If you watched Oregon this year, you saw that receiving options after Dylan Mitchell
that was a problem.
Not really there. And they also end up with their highest rated recruit ever. His name is Kayvon Thibodeau, from actually not far from where I grew up, from Oaks Christian. And he is an edge rusher himself who, for a long period of time, was the number one player in the country. Michigan had the very rare, but still very effective double flip.
The double heel flip.
Yes. 2, and then from Alabama, Daxton Hill, the number one safety in the country. And they, of course, as they usually do, have a pretty wide footprint, cast a wide net, Ty. Across the country, commits from Florida and Georgia, California. If you remember all of those Jim Harbaugh tours across the country, perhaps they are paying dividends.
Anyone
Clemson,
from Italy?
Nobody that I see from Bologna or from Reggiano. By the way, did you see the Mike Piazza story in The Athletic? We can get to that.
Piazza story? No, we have an athletic read.
I'm not going to fully interrupt early signing day for this, but Mike Piazza bought and subsequently ran into the ground a 100-year-old soccer club in the middle of Italy. It's extraordinary. And it's crazy. And not fully his fault, but sort of.
Pause the show right now. Go out and read that. We'll tell you.
TheAthletic.com. Do you want to just do our Athletic read right now?
TheAthletic.com/solid verbal is how you can get 40% off your first year for The Athletic. $2.99 per month, I believe. The math checks out.
Yep.
We've had countless folks who have taken them up on the deal. I can't believe it's still available, but it is Christmas time.
Yeah.
Lord knows you're in the market to get something for that special someone, maybe even yourself. Maybe you just want to read about Mike Piazza running a soccer program.
It's so good.
Into the ground. Maybe you want to read college football content from all of our friends that we've had on the show, that we will have on the show as we forge now into this college football offseason, as we talk more about recruiting and the like. I would encourage everyone. I'm actually going to get this for somebody for a Christmas gift.
It's the ultimate grower gift. It is. It really is. Like, you hand somebody an envelope with a card and like, hey, I got you a subscription to The Athletic. Everybody wants something tangible.
Yeah.
But then over time, people are going to be so grateful to have this subscription, especially because you're supporting two handsome fellas in the Northeast by doing so.
I bought somebody a subscription to one of those password applications that like stores all your passwords and
yes,
and it just auto fills everything.
Ultimate grower. Yes.
And I'm not sure that went over well because there was a level of effort required there to switch everything over, and it was like a good idea but kind of a pain.
Right.
The Athletic does not fall into that category. This is
Absolutely
just pure, unadulterated sports content, no frills. The future of journalism. theathletic.com/solidverbal. 40% off your first year, just $2.99 a month.
Do it. Back to signing day and out of Italy. Clemson obviously does super well. Their defensive back class is great. They may have pulled the top corner in the country. He's up there and he's out of Georgia. Texas went defense heavy, including two blue chips out of California, which I imagine has something to do with Tom Herman's connection to the state. Oklahoma went heavy on the lines, and Ho-Hum signed the number one quarterback in the country. And I think that's smart, Ty.
Spencer, here's what's best.
Yeah.
Spencer Rattler, Rattler, from the desert, from Arizona. It's perfect. Just perfect.
It was, by everybody who would know, a ridiculously down year for quarterbacks. And so that's going to happen. And I think part of that was also JT Daniels going to USC a year early. He would have been in this class, but a down year. I think next year is supposed to be better nationally. Florida State, with all kinds of mostly not great news that they were unable to close on some big targets. They lose a big defensive end to Texas A&M, and most notably Mac Brown from under their feet.
The Mac attack, yeah.
The Mac attack in his own backyard. A top flight quarterback, Sam Howell from North Carolina, flips today from Florida State to North Carolina.
Wow.
So that's a big loss. I don't believe Willie Taggart has now signed a quarterback in either of his recruiting classes in Tallahassee. You may know better than I about Notre Dame's class, but from the looks of things, from very far away, it looks like a very strong offensive line class, which shouldn't surprise given what Notre Dame offensive linemen have done lately. A lot of heavy defense, which makes sense given a lot of upperclassmen on this current defense. And I think it's one quarterback in this class, and he looks, I don't think he's a blue chip by any means, so maybe just a depth play.
Yeah. One thing that I should point out, I tweeted to our friend Jeff Schwartz. I CC'd him on something that our other friend Pete Sampson, also of The Athletic,
we have so many friends,
put out earlier today, or I guess yesterday, the highlight reel from Zeke Corral.
Okay.
Pete is very careful to say that he doesn't want to compare anyone to Quentin Nelson, but here's the highlight tape. And the highlight tape is basically a kid who is a monster on the football field, just blowing up people about my size.
Yeah,
I would say exactly. About my size. You know how high school football is.
6'2", 220, jacked.
Right.
Yeah.
Just blowing people up who are grossly undersized. And if you like pancakes, I could tweet that out and people can check it out for themselves. But it seems like, to your point, yes, they did do very well along the lines. They reinforced a lot of the other non-skill positions that they need to keep this team performing at a very high level.
Yes, and depth play might be a thing at quarterback because, hey, Brandon Wimbush might have some value on the open market. Do you think he transfers? Joining a long line of Notre Dame quarterbacks transferring and not necessarily finding the right place?
I would. If he's not willing to play another position, I would.
Okay.
100%.
Penn State, also very strong offensive line class. You probably also know better than I, being somewhat there and paying attention to the Nittany Lions closer than I, but they snag what looks to be one of, if not the best inside linebackers in the nation in Brandon Smith, who's from Virginia. I think they also got a top running back who is from Virginia. The name Joey Porter Jr. should elicit the correct response, which is one, is that Joey? Yes. Son? Also, the 1B response is, I'm that old? I am that old where Joey Porter's son is a college football player.
Almost came out my nose, but yes, that was my exact reaction.
Penn State also takes two quarterbacks, one of whom is the son of Oregon's wide receiver coach, wide receivers coach. Maybe looked at as more of an athlete. I don't know. I don't know how people are evaluating the Penn State quarterbacks, but certainly with Trace McSorley. Moving on from Penn State's in a pretty good place, recruiting and talent and depth-wise right now. Also of note, Ty, we've got some people sort of outperforming, some programs outperforming what they've looked like recently on the field.
I saw Tennessee stole a 5-star guy?
Tennessee with a really nice class, a top 20 type class, heavy on the lines, a top offensive tackle from Georgia. Mississippi State, Jomo, doing really, really well, takes a top quarterback out of Charlotte and recruits the lines in a pretty impressive fashion. Arkansas, I think, has 8 or 9 blue chips in their class, including some really talented looking pass catchers. Ole Miss did very well, especially at receiver. Purdue, Jeff Brom has recruited very well, most notably, the Rondale Moore pull from last year paid dividends pretty quickly, but they're strong again at receiver, and they go heavy on defense, including a pair of pretty huge, impressive defensive linemen. Minnesota, again, PJ Fleck does a good job bringing in new Gophers once again along the defensive line. Virginia does a good job, and I've really liked Bronco Mendenhall's classes thus far. Virginia in that sort of mid-Atlantic area has a lot of high-end talent, and he's done a good job. Indiana also doing a really good job. A big running back. Yeah, your guy Tom Allen, and maybe this year is the year, Ty.
So do this.
Yeah.
Give me like the 30 to 45 second abridged version of who underperformed so far, at least.
Yeah. USC, maybe with all of their hysteria off field, on field, their class is usually top 5. They look to be like top 20-ish. Auburn, Ohio State, both like top 14, 15, but we're used to seeing them more like top 2 to 6, 7. Florida does not appear to have closed in super strong fashion. TCU, I'm used to seeing in a top 20, 25 way, and they're not there. Miami, just, I don't know if it's the way they closed the season, but offensively, especially a disappointing class. Oklahoma State, I'm used to seeing higher. And UCLA, I get because of the way Chip Kelly approaches recruiting and not always star chasing, but still, given his location and the talent he should, and the Bruins should be able to attract in LA, not an impressive class. But you know what? Maybe these are just all of the right 3 stars.
There you go. There you go. Okay, so that's a primer.
Yeah.
For what we're looking at. It sets up, obviously, a longer recruiting cycle. There's going to be more to come on this. There might be more to come this week on this. But at a minimum, that's what we're looking at right now. The top 10. Things are shaping up to look very strong again for a lot of the usual suspects.
I'm curious to see, by the way, in just naming those teams, there's one of those teams that stands out to me, and that's Ohio State, because of the coaching transition. And Ryan Day has himself a probably stressful, nerve-wracking January ahead. I don't know what the size of their class looks like right now and how many spots are still open, but I'm sure they're going to look to close pretty strong.
Well, it's funny you say that, because news broke again not too long after we hit the stop button.
Yes.
That Justin Fields, the former top quarterback, former top player, I guess, in the 2018 class, is shockingly going to transfer out of Georgia. I remember we both talked about it when he committed behind Jake Fromm, that this might not be a long-term situation. He played in a number of games this year, so the red shirt's gone for him, at least at Georgia. But I heard Ohio State is sort of the front runner because of Ryan Day. I'd be very interested to see if that is ultimately where he ends up there in Columbus.
Yeah, it would make a ton of sense given a potential opening with Dwayne Haskins perhaps looking at the NFL. And even so, a lot of the thinking is, well, Justin Fields would have to sit out a year anyway. But there is another line of thinking that he could apply for the hardship type waiver that got Shea Patterson eligible immediately at Michigan, if he alludes to, and this is our friend Andy Staples writing this, about the incident that took place with the Georgia baseball player yelling out some pretty awful things to Justin Fields and on the Georgia sideline, to the Georgia sideline in general. So perhaps that situation comes up, but certainly there will be no shortage of suitors.
Oh my God, everyone's
Justin
interested.
Fields' talent, correct. So whether it's Alabama or Oklahoma or Ohio State or whoever,
you know what I'm curious about?
Florida State.
I'm curious about Mississippi State because of Joe Moorhead.
Sure.
Penn State was in the running for Fields for a while, and there was a relationship there that I think formed through the recruiting process between Fields and Joe Moorhead. I don't know if it happens. It's obviously tough to beat out a school like an Ohio State or some of these big players, but I wouldn't count Mississippi State out.
No, and on that same note, I don't know what his relationship now is with James Franklin because he was, as you mentioned, committed to Penn State. The Nittany Lions have no shortage of incredible skill talent right now.
They're very
and look
sound.
to be, in the next few years, it's a long-term play with the guys that they have there, whether it's, Ricky Slade or Justin Shorter or KJ Hamler. So a pretty ideal situation for a school without a sure thing quarterback of the future. So Justin Fields will have a lot of interest come his way.
Also, Justin Fields transferring out, but Khalil Tate staying put. There was some scuttlebutt that he might decide to go elsewhere, but he will be staying at Arizona, Dan.
And he for sure would have been that name, perhaps even more so, given that he has shown an incredible amount on the field already as a transfer, if he were to transfer.
We've got some declarations as well. None of these are going to come as a huge surprise. Benny Snell, Devin Bush from Michigan, Mike Weber from Ohio State, Sutton Smith. We have Andre James going pro as well. Yep. So a few more names
UCLA
to
left
add.
Tackle.
Yeah, to add to that list of guys leaving early.
Yeah, I think a lot will happen as we get closer to some of the bigger bowls, as guys weigh their future and perhaps get evaluations back and see what the NFL thinks of them. Am I a first round pick? Am I a top 3 round? Whatever. So we will stay on top of that. But no, I don't think any of those come as huge surprises. I did see Rashawn Gary is starting his own sports agency or something.
Okay.
He had already declared at Michigan, but had always come across as a super bright dude. So interesting to see how something like that works out. I'm sure more will come out about it. But Michigan closes strong, even with some of these big losses. I saw Aubrey Solomon, their 5-star signee from a couple of years ago, who's been pretty beat up. He announced that he's transferring. So Michigan's defense will certainly look more and more different as we move forward.
That's all I have in the way of news, Dan. Is there anything else that we need to cover before we get into it?
Ty, why don't you drop that big no, just play the bowl intro music. That's fine.
Dan, Ty, help. I need picks of the week.
So I know I promised a new sound. I didn't make it.
Nope. Still waiting.
I have failed the verballerhood.
Again.
But we got games to talk about.
We do.
We got games to talk about. So I saw that UAB Hwab had a big win. So hopefully folks picked UAB and the Blazers to...
I screwed that up.
Yeah, you did.
And I really shouldn't have. UAB was, using my tried and true formula, essentially the no-brainer, easier pick.
So we've got a handful of games here that we're going to go through tonight. This is bowl preview number 3. We're going to start with the ServPro First Responder Bowl, Dan. They play this one at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas. I think formerly this was the Heart of Dallas Bowl, if memory serves. This one is on the day after Christmas.
This is outside. This is the outdoor Cotton Bowl. That's State Fairground.
Yes.
Okay.
So I guess Boxing Day for some folks who are into such things.
Okay.
It's on ESPN. Boston College at 7-5. Boise State at 10-3. The Broncos are 3-point favorite. Here's what we got in the way of gifts for this game. We get a big game football, which whatever. Nice little souvenir. Get an RFID blocking Ridge wallet. What do you know about this here device, Dan? The RFID blocking Ridge wallet.
I'm Googling as we speak. What does it do?
So here is the deal. Okay, there are some credit cards that you can get that will... I shouldn't be giving all this away. I don't want to give state secrets away. People already are on to me, Dan.
Oh, it's that so you can just hold up your wallet?
Well, there are some credit cards that you have that will emit an electronic signal via RFID. And if people have, if scammers have the necessary equipment and they can get close enough to your wallet or to your card, they can essentially skim some of your personal data. Then they can use it on the dark web. They can buy stuff on Amazon. I am here today to tell you that that's a load of bull. It is a load of bull.
Okay.
This is not a very prevalent thing that our stars of tomorrow need to worry about.
Yes. And it's Boston College, Boise State in Dallas. And again, you mentioned it, there is a gift suite.
Yes.
And we did get an email from somebody.
Right. We did. Yeah.
I will drop this right here. We got an email from somebody who I won't give out his name, but he used to work for a bowl you would recognize.
Sources, Dan. We have sources.
Sources. He has given us the skinny on gift suites. And here's what he had to say. Each guy is given 7 points. This is for the game that he worked for.
Sent through to solidverbal@protonmail.com. High encryption.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah. Each guy is given 7 points, and there are dozens of different items ranging in value from 1 to 7 points, and they can split the points up however they'd like. There's all kinds of stuff like electronics, appliances, sunglasses, guitars, recliners. It's pretty cool to see them act like kids in a candy store, to be terribly cliched. A lot of players will use it as an opportunity to get Christmas gifts for their family, which we've
smart.
talked about.
That is smart.
Which is really awesome. The big dudes seem to go for the recliners a lot. Can't blame them.
No.
We did have a team try to tell their guys they couldn't pick the recliners because the equipment staff didn't want to deal with them. Also understand that. Equipment staff lost the battle. I know the gift suite doesn't sound as cool as everyone getting a Bluetooth speaker bar, but they can get one if that's what they want. It was always a lot of fun to see the videos of the guys going through it and making their choices. So,
okay, that's cool. So maybe we need to reevaluate then.
I would imagine most gift suite gifting is pretty standardized with your upper and lower tiers.
There was also a tweet that somebody forwarded to us that I believe showed Texas going through their gift suite.
Oh, nice. So, decent game, Boston College, Boise. I love me some Bronco.
I do too. I like them to the tune of 37 points.
Woo!
Boise's a little better on defense, but a lot better on offense. In case you're wondering, it is Brett Rippon's final game as quarterback, which is a nice feel-good story for the Broncos. Keep in mind, Dan, Boise won, 7 in a row before losing to Fresno.
Right.
And on the flip side, Boston College lost their last 3, and their offense was really bad down the stretch.
Yeah, Boston College was a mess in November. Boise State, I still like a good deal. I think Brett Rippon goes out really nicely. I can't imagine weather's going to play a huge role. He says, as he doesn't look at the forecast, there's probably ice and sleet everywhere. But I like Boise to the tune of 30 confidence points.
We agree! Moving on. Also on Wednesday, Boxing Day, Dan. Let's go to the Quick Lane Bowl. Ford Field, neat venue in Detroit. It's on ESPN. Got the Minnesota Golden Gophers at 6-6 versus Georgia Tech at 7-5. Tech is a 6-point favorite. It's Paul Johnson's final game.
Yes, it is.
He is retiring. You layer on top of that the fact that Donnell Green, the big offensive tackle for Minnesota, signed with an agent. He's not going to play in this game.
Okay.
You layer on top of that the fact that Minnesota has really struggled, and I mean really struggled, against the run this season. They give up a lot of big plays on the ground. None of that strikes me as a great formula for success here for the Golden Gophers. So for as much as I like them, for as much as I like their pluckiness.
Oh, there it is.
I got to go Georgia Tech to the tune of 36 confidence points. Dan.
Whoa. I think I may disagree.
Really?
Yes. The Gophers were bad on defense for a majority of the season, but it's been a different look defense since they fired Rob Smith earlier on in November. And Georgia Tech's defense is pretty awful. And far be it for me to pick against Paul Johnson in his final game, but I actually think I am going to go with Minnesota. Even though there's not going to be a weather advantage because it's indoors at Ford Field, it's much more local to Minnesota. So I'm going with the Gophers here. I expect a decent enough game from this Minnesota offense. I have them winning 33-31, and I'm going Gopher. And Ty, tell everybody what Paul Johnson is walking away with.
Paul Johnson walking away from the sport of college football, at least for now. $175 Best Buy gift card.
Okay.
A JBL set of E55BT over-ear wireless headphones. I'm assuming BT stands for Bluetooth, Dan.
I would assume so. Okay, that seems like a good gift.
A life-sized fathead decal for each participant of his likeness. Does this mean that Paul Johnson's going to get a Paul Johnson decal that he could put somewhere in his man cave.
Oh, we can only hope, and we can only hope it's a scowl.
What would your wife say, Dan? If you had a home with a big old man cave, or really just some big prominent wall.
Yeah.
And on that wall, you put a fat head of your own face.
I can actually speak to this very specifically and realistically, because at an old job I had, an old video show I did, on the set was essentially a fat head of my face smiling. So the only thing I can say about it is, as somebody who enjoys attention, I loved it. I loved it. It was great to have around. And in that office, in the kitchen, which big company, there were small little Polaroid type pictures of everybody with their name on it. And like, oh, this is Kristen. Oh, this is Brad, whatever. And one day I decided to just, we're talking about 2 to 3 inch Polaroid type pictures. And I brought in my 3-foot giant head and taped it to the wall. Never felt prouder, Ty.
Okay.
Never felt prouder. So what I can tell you, Minnesota and Georgia Tech players getting personalized fat heads is, it's going to be pretty cool. It's going to be pretty cool.
Okay. Life-size fat head decal.
Would you get one of your head? Could you put it in the studio and have,
I was going to suggest
doing much in your studio.
I don't know if Fathead listens, but listen, if they want to send us a fat head of you and I,
sure.
I do have a wall where I could put it as a backdrop. It would actually.
Do you have a high resolution photograph that you'd be willing to use?
I could take one.
Okay. That's what I like to hear.
Yeah. Fathead,
right.
Look us up. Also, a backpack, shirts, mini helmet, football, the usual kind of stuff. But
this whole Boxing Day, as we go through Boxing Day era of these bowl games, real strong. We're getting into a real strong session of gifting right here.
Of gifting, yes. Maybe not so much.
Oh, no, forget the games.
In the way of games, because we're about to talk about the Cheez-It Bowl, Dan.
I'm ready.
Cheez-It Bowl, Chase Field in Phoenix. Also on Boxing Day, Dan.
Mm-hmm.
ESPN, we've got Cal at 7-5. We've got TCU at 6-6. It's a pick'em. Even Vegas doesn't know who's going to win this game. Here's what they're getting to participate in this game. We should start with this because the game's probably going to be trash. Fair to say?
Well, if everybody who liked and loved and explained how that 9-6 Alabama LSU game was real football, you got to tune into the Cheez-It Bowl, folks.
Tune into the Cheez-It Bowl because it's a later game on Boxing Day, day after Christmas. Tune in because the commercials will probably be funny. I love the Cheez-It commercials, Dan.
Okay.
A fossil watch with engraved caseback. Okay.
Okay.
A JBL Charge 3 Bluetooth speaker.
Great.
A Bago bag toss tailgate cornhole set. Not bad.
That sounds fine.
A Yeti Roadie 20 cooler. A Yeti Rambler. A dry duffel bag. A Rumi Reveal Quart bag. Branded Bills cap. Dollar Shave Club starter set. Now, Dollar Shave is not a sponsor of this show, but they're a sponsor of the Cheez-It Bowl. So we do need to mention them. No gift suite here, which is notable, but it seems like a relatively good selection here of gifts for the participants.
You get a Bluetooth speaker, you get cornhole, you get both a cooler and a Yeti Rambler. This is incredible. This is a great suite.
I like that the Cheez-It Bowl has laid its cards on the table.
Oh, absolutely. And if you're going to the Cheez-It Bowl, eat at a place that serves really good cheese, and that is Pizzeria Bianco. Really good. One of my favorite pizza places in America. I also, Ty, have loaded up because I don't have much to say about this defensive battle, other than I think Cal might win because TCU's quarterback situation is a disaster. Not that Cal's isn't, but I don't know. I have food and wine. That's how much I'm caring.
Very dismissive. I love it. I feel the same.
This is the top 10 taste-tested Cheez-It flavors from Food and Wine. And I don't know if you're a Cheez-It enthusiast.
I love Cheez-Its, yeah.
I don't know if you've tried the various options.
It's got to be white cheddar, number 1.
Number 10, zesty cheddar ranch.
Not a fan of the ranch.
It looks ridged.
No, not for me.
Food and Wine says a bit too ranchy
Yeah.
for them.
Everyone who tries the ranch flavoring is a bit too ranchy. You ever notice that?
I do notice that. I think Cooler Ranch gets it right. No?
Did you ever try the ranch flavored David sunflower seeds?
No, you were a baseball player, so you had more access to that
represents
sort of
rock bottom in the ranch flavoring industry. Just terrible.
Hot and spicy Cheez-Its.
Okay.
Have you had them?
No, I didn't know they tried that.
One of their reviewers said, not spicy at all, very Tabasco-y and vinegary. Doesn't appeal to me.
No.
I like spicy. I don't like that. Big Cheez-Its.
That's a flavor?
I mean, it's an option. It's all yes, technically big is a flavor.
Okay.
Number 7 is original, which
really
hard to fight with the classic.
Yeah.
Number 6, made with whole grain. I don't know. I feel like if you're going to get a Cheez-It, go for the full Cheez-It experience.
I mean, you're not eating Cheez-Its to be healthy, right?
That's true. I agree with all. Like, I don't get wheat tortillas. If you're not going to get a tortilla, don't get fake tortillas.
Okay.
Grooves, original cheddar, so a more ridged, grooved appearance.
Okay.
Where do you stand on the great groove versus non-groove debate of 18?
I don't know if I've ever had the groove Cheez-Its.
I mean, they're ahead of the original.
Interesting. I mean, I'm pro grooves. I'm okay with that.
Cheddar Jack.
I don't know, Dan.
So there's apparently something called Duos with a Z because of Cheez-It.
Sure.
Cheddar Jack and jalapeno.
No, don't do that.
Number 2, this might be your number 1. Number 2 is their Grooves Sharp White Cheddar.
Yeah, there. That's what I'm talking about, buddy.
And their number 1 is Duos Caramel Popcorn and Cheddar.
No, come on.
Have you had those?
No.
I mean, they're the
No
reviewers.
way.
One of the reviews is,
come on.
I wanted to hate this. I did not. Which I can appreciate. Here's the ending. Here's the epilogue of our Cheez-It reviewing. Again, not a sponsor.
No,
we just like snacks. Are Cheez-Its a dippable cracker, or must they be?
No, they're dippable.
Solo?
They're dippable.
Really?
Yeah, they're dippable.
What will you dip a Cheez-It in?
You could dip it maybe in like some hummus.
Okay. A French onion dip, or is that too much?
No, you could do that.
That's what I'd be worried about.
I think you could do that.
All right, Ty, the Independence Bowl.
Yeah. By the way, I didn't pick a winner.
Oh, who do you like? I like Cal. It's a pick game.
Cal.
Who do you like?
9 points on Cal.
I have this relatively low as well.
Hopefully, Cal and TCU folks won't be offended by us doing a full Cheez-It review, but to be honest, that is more entertaining than the game.
The least favorite, so this is number 16. I only did top 10. The least favorite was Italian 4 cheese. Like, ooh, if you screw up that, I don't want to be. You have extra toasty in there, bacon and cheddar, hot and spicy cheddar, cheddar jack, and sharp cheddar pretzel.
See, here's my problem with this, though, Dan.
Yeah.
My problem is that the literal name of the product is Cheez-It.
Right. Not cheese them.
Right. It is Cheez-It.
Right.
So you would think that you should have the market cornered on all things cheese flavored.
Mm-hmm.
Cheez-It is the name of the product. Why are they trying ranch? Why are they trying jalapeno?
Well, it's a ranch cheddar, Ty.
Get out of here.
Okay.
They should banish that ranch flavor. I like ranch dressing, but they should banish trying to put ranch on things where it doesn't belong.
I like that you're a snack purist. We've been doing this show for 10 years, and I never knew that.
I think I am. Okay. Where are we at? Walk-On's Independence Bowl.
Yes.
This is not Boxing Day. This is on Thursday. The 27th. It's at Shreveport Independence Stadium. They get a gift suite, a timely watch. Hello, old friend.
Yay.
A new era skull cap. Do you own a skull cap?
I mean, I own beanies. I don't think it's anything that tight, no.
I do have a skull cap. It's a little weird for me. And a football. It is a game between Temple and Duke. Temple is a 4-point favorite. Who you got?
I'm going with Temple here. I can count on more. Even without Jeff Collins, I really like this Temple team against the pass, which is where Duke really thrives. And there's just a lot more to like about how complete the Owls looked by the end of the season. They were scoring on everybody. They were stopping teams. I thought Jeff Collins did a tremendous job in just, he was there 2 years?
Yeah, he was
He did a great job with the Owls. Eagles. So I think that travels to Shreveport. So give me Temple here. I will give you the confidence after I shuttle past the Cheez-It tab.
Oh, man.
I am going to go with, I have Temple at, did I close the window? This is just remarkable.
I have Temple at 19. While you find,
that's pretty good.
While you find yours. I have Temple at 19.
Why?
Well, they lost their head coach. So they, to your point, okay, they lost their head coach, but did you happen to see the clip of their interim coach?
I did indeed. He was excitable.
Ed Foley is his name. He is very excitable.
Yeah.
He is pumped.
I only have this at 9 points. Okay.
9 points. Okay. He's very pumped to be in Shreveport for this game and very optimistic about his team's chances. Temple's better on offense and defense. They're really good against the pass, which I don't know if we'll see that here, but I just found myself looking at this saying, what is Duke good at? What are they, other than playing basketball, really, what is Duke good at?
This game actually really is a hell of a 1993 John Chaney Coach K game.
It is, right?
Yeah, I appreciate that.
19 for Temple.
Okay.
19 for Temple. The New Era Pinstripe Bowl. Oh boy, here we go. In Yankee Stadium.
First of all, I'm not gonna say much here because I'm gonna lean on your expertise as a Pinstripe Bowl alum.
That's right. Thursday, the 27th on ESPN. We got Miami at 7-5 versus Wisconsin at 7-5. Mm-hmm. Miami, I think I have it a 4-point favorite here. There are no favorites in this game, Dan. These are two teams that I think both are ready, willing, and able to just get the whole season over with at this point. They both get a variety of New Era products, which I think is actually better than meets the eye. That's a cool gift.
And it might be an incomplete listing as well.
It might be incomplete. I think the limit is like $800. So there probably is something else. Otherwise, that's a full-on hat rack, dog.
Yeah, that's a lot. I like Miami because I, at this point, feel like their defense is the best thing that will be on the field. Just Wisconsin and Miami, really, both of them are in a state of just wanting to move forward and get to 2019. I saw Miami lost a quarterback today who they were counting on for depth or to compete perhaps for the job next year with N'Kosi Perry, and he is not going to be playing for the Canes anymore. So it's a down matchup. I'm going with Miami because of the defense. And if you happen to be coming into town for this game and you're making your way uptown to the Bronx, may I suggest stopping in East Harlem? That's right. It's like 116th Street. Taco Mix has maybe my favorite al pastor in New York tacos. Really, really good.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to go Wisconsin. Give me Wisconsin here. Yeah, I'm going to go Wisconsin. I'll say 17.
I have Miami at 19.
Okay. We disagree. But not too much. The Academy Sports and Outdoors Texas Bowl at the NRG, NRG Stadium in Houston. It's also on Thursday on ESPN. Baylor at 6-6, Vandy at 6-6. The Commodores are a 4-point favorite. They get a gift suite. They get a gift card to Academy Sports and Outdoors. They get an Adidas backpack, and of course, the you need to get the belt buckle if you're going to Texas, Dan.
Always.
I think if you like Baylor here, it's because this is a scrappy and plucky team, and they are getting better. They're basically playing a home game here, which you like. Mm-hmm. On the flip side, if you like Vandy, I think it's because they're better on offense and defense, and they don't shoot themselves in the foot, which if you go through and look at the numbers for Baylor, they're very mistake prone, turnover margin not great. I like Vandy. I like Vandy a lot here. 24 points. Give me the doors.
For all of the reasons you stated, I agree. I like Vandy here. Baylor, a lot of struggling giving up bigger plays on defense. So I'm going with the doors. And if you happen to be in the Houston area going to this game, it looks like the weather's not going to be great. It's indoors, even though it says it's the Outdoors Texas Bowl, the Academy Sports and Outdoors Texas Bowl. Inside the NRG, find yourself some Viet Cajun. Maybe, I think there's a place called Crawfish and Noodles. So they take Vietnamese food and they take that Bayou Cajun food. They combine it. There are a couple different places. Warm yourself up with some Viet Cajun.
That leaves us, Dan, with December the 28th. Now, if you listen to our last show, you'll know that we're both pretty gung-ho about this 3-game slate that we've got on the 28th. We'll start with the Franklin American Mortgage Music City Bowl. They played at Nissan Stadium in Nashville, Tennessee.
It's where the Titans play, right?
Yeah, it's where the Titans play. It's between Purdue at 6-6 and Auburn at 7-5. The Tigers are a 4-point favorite. They get a gift suite and a Fossil watch. Now listen. Here's where I'm going to get a little crazy. I don't think, you know my rules. I don't think Auburn gives a damn about this game. I think it's a huge letdown to be playing Purdue.
But did they think they were going to be going to anything for November?
I don't.
It's not like Auburn lost.
I know.
On the verge of something.
I know. Maybe I am overthinking this.
Okay.
I am prone to doing such things. But I can't believe that if you're Auburn, you really give a damn about playing Purdue in Nashville in late December. So I'm not putting much on this, but I'm actually going to go Purdue to the tune of 2 confidence points here. I think it means more to them. I think retaining Jeff Brom, at least for another season, is a big deal. Purdue was scrappy. You know they're going to play hard in this game, even if they do end up losing. So I'm going to press my luck and say Boilermakers outright here over Auburn.
Wow. I think I disagree. Purdue away from West Lafayette. I know they showed out really nicely last year, and I believe whatever it was called last year, maybe the Foster Farms Bowl out west in the Bay Area against Arizona, scored a bunch of points. I think I like Auburn here. I think with time, with game planning, I know they came out flat last year when they were disappointed to be playing UCF and I believe the Peach Bowl, but I think they show up. I think they're able to move the ball reasonably enough. Jarrett Stidham, is he playing? I'm almost positive he is. I know he declared for the draft.
Yeah.
I believe so. Jarrett Stidham has a lot more to prove than a lot of players who have decided to skip bowl games because his stock has fallen off with the season he's had. I think the Purdue defense can be had. So I like Auburn here. I like Auburn to win this by 7 to 9 points. And my confidence level with Auburn right now is very low.
Yeah, see, that's the thing, right?
1 point.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Whether or not you're picking Auburn, it's still, I think, a game where you're not going to put a lot of confidence points on it because
that's right.
This has been a tough team to try and project really the full way through. The losses aren't bad losses. It just doesn't feel like they ever quite reached their potential here. Certainly the running game wasn't there all year. I think at a very basic level, Auburn's defense, and particularly their defensive front, is a lot better. But, man, I don't know. I'm not sure if the motivation is there.
Here's the great news. Nashville is an excellent place to visit, to hang out, to see the sights, to eat. Go to Husk. They have a great lunch. You can get probably my favorite burger in America at Husk.
You always talk up this Husk burger.
I love Husk. I've been to the one in Charleston and the one in Nashville now. I went with our pal Travis Haney a few months ago when I was in Nashville. You can get fried chicken at lunch as well. I did some damage. Go to Prince's if you want the true thing, the hot chicken in Nashville. Don't get the extra hot. I would not even.
No?
I would not even get. I don't know if I would even do medium. It's going to ruin you for a couple days. Also, this sounds cliched. It sounds obvious. But when I was there and I hadn't really spent time there, I went to the Country Music Hall of Fame and Museum.
Yeah.
And it ruled. Ty.
Really?
It was so fun. It was so cool. I'm not a fan of country music at all, but they had all of like the bedazzled cacti onesies that, these hop-along guys wore in the 40s. They had Elvis's cars. They had a lot of Dolly Parton stuff. It was spectacular.
Neat.
It's enormous in downtown. You can't miss it. I strongly recommend it if you're going to the Music City Bowl or you're just in Nashville.
Also on Friday, it's the Camping World Bowl, Dan, at Camping World Stadium in Orlando, Florida. It's on ESPN. It's West Virginia. It's Syracuse. West Virginia currently a 1.5-point favorite. Here's what you need to know.
Yeah.
Will Greer not playing. Also, their big left tackle, Yadni Kajust, not playing either for the Mountaineers. So 2 key pieces are going to be out against a team in Syracuse that I got to believe is going to be fired up as hell.
Sure.
This is a big deal. They won 9 games this year. It's grungy Eric Dungy's final game. I'm going to go Cuse here. I've been teasing this since, I think, before we even started doing our bowl previews, but I think they've got an axe to grind. They've got something to prove here. And this is a pretty big stage for them. This is a nice game. To go from Syracuse to Orlando in December? Yeah, I'll take that. Give me Cuse. Give me them with a reasonable level of confidence, like 18 points.
I'm going to list all of the good things that happen in Orlando right now. UCF football. All right, that is the entirety. I haven't been to Disney World. I've been to Disneyland, and I do like Disneyland, but Orlando's not great. I would.
Look, it's better than Syracuse in late December.
Okay.
All right, you're a big weather guy.
I know. That's fair. I like Syracuse a lot here as well, and it's because I like their defense a lot. I love that this is the final game for grungy Eric Dungy, and a lot of that talent on both sides of the ball really has impressed over the course of this season. A chance to get to 10 games. West Virginia with their backup quarterback, another Miami transfer in Jack Allison. Curious to see what he looks like. A lot of skill position talent around him, but I'm going with Cuse here. I think they go to that level of stage, especially Ty. $400 Best Buy gift card.
Yeah, buddy. You can do some damage with that.
I haven't been to a Best Buy in 3.5 years, 7 years. I don't know the last time, but you could probably spend it on bestbuy.com. Your old friend, an OGO backpack.
Yep.
And a Fossil watch.
Not bad.
Seems pretty decent to me. I'd be happy to go to the Camping World Bowl.
All right. And finally, the Valero Alamo Bowl at the Alamo Dome in San Antonio, also on Friday on ESPN. You're going to have to help me out with this one, Dan.
I'm ready.
I kind of backed myself into a corner where I figured out all the other games, and the only slot I have left is 14 confidence points, which isn't an egregious amount to put on a game that you're not sure of. We've got Iowa State at 8-4. We've got Washington State at 10-2. Washington State is a 3.5 point favorite. I am supremely on the fence here. I feel like Wazoo is the better team. They've been the better team all year. But okay. Iowa State has the appropriate level of pluck to really keep my interest here. So of all the games that I think we're going to see on Friday the 28th, this is a later game. This is the one that I am genuinely the most curious to see how it shakes out. Where do you come down on this game as a resident sort of Pac-12 enthusiast?
Washington State has been incredible to watch all year long. Love the Gardner Minshew story. In potentially most other years, I think he would be closer to Heisman consideration, at least until the Apple Cup. I think I like Iowa State here because of their defense. I think they are uniquely built in the way that they've handled Big 12 teams to look at this Wazoo offense, which has been incredible all year long, and get some stops. Not a lot of stops. In fact, maybe basically no stops, but I think they are constructed in such a way with Brock Purdy showing out, with having, one of the best receiver duos, especially, you have Hakeem Butler on your team. You are a threat at most moments to do damage. So I like Iowa State here. I like the way that they came out last year. I believe they took down Memphis in their bowl game last year. So I think they're constructed in such a way that they'll have enough success against Wazoo. I have them winning a shootout. I don't know if you have the sound available to you on the soundboard, but something in the range of 47-42. I have Iowa State, and my confidence level is 20. Not bad. Pretty solid.
14 points. I'm going to agree with you on
Hell of
Iowa
a gift
State.
situation.
$425 Amazon card. Not
I'm going
bad.
to tell you something, Ty. If you are struggling to figure out what to get somebody for a big event that gifts are expected, a wedding, something, graduation, nobody doesn't like receiving an Amazon gift card.
Here is the one gripe that I've heard about the Amazon card.
I mean, yes, it's a completely evil company.
I've heard
pretty good.
that it's too impersonal of a gift for big occasions. I feel quite
a lot
to
of
the
people
contrary.
don't care.
I feel to the contrary. That
Right.
is usable U.S. American currency that you can put into pretty much anything you want.
It's an oh yeah gift where a lot of people are ordering stuff from Amazon like, oh yeah, I've got $100. Great, cool.
You'll also get a Fossil watch, a mini team helmet, and a team panoramic photo, which is kind of cool to commemorate your Alamo Dome experience. I'm going to go Iowa State. One thing that jumped out at me, I know Iowa State isn't the most efficient team on the ground, but I think if they're going to do any damage against Washington State, they can do it on the ground. Certainly, they've got David Montgomery. Brock Purdy is quite mobile as a quarterback and has come into his own in the second half of the season. So I'm going to agree with you for all the reasons you stated. Plus, I think they've got a better ground game here. Certainly, they put more effort on the ground than Washington State does. So Iowa State, 14 points.
I don't hate Wazoo's backs, but yeah.
We agree. So that's all we got here. Again, to run through, did a bunch of games here this evening. The ServPro First Responder Bowl, Quick Lane Bowl, Cheez-It Bowl, Walk-On's Independence Bowl, New Era Pinstripe Bowl, the Academy Sports and Outdoors Texas Bowl, Franklin American Mortgage Music City Bowl, Camping World Bowl, and to close it out, the Valero Alamo Bowl, Dan, which means that on the next show, we're going to be breaking down the playoff.
So what are all of the matchups we're doing for Sunday's show?
On Sunday's show, let me pull it up again here.
Yeah, I've got it. Notre Dame, Clemson in the Cotton Bowl. Oklahoma, Alabama in your Orange Bowl. We've got the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, Florida, Michigan. Belk Bowl, South Carolina, Virginia. I believe that's an Adam Amin game. Arkansas State, Nevada in the Arizona Bowl. We've got the Military Bowl, Cincinnati, Virginia Tech, which I guess could be kind of interesting. Stanford, Pitt in the Sun Bowl. Michigan State, Oregon in the Red Box Bowl. And I think I'm going to get dinner at halftime.
Yeah.
Something else struck me though, Ty, because we talk about bowl gifts and we talk about these matchups. What game is Notre Dame in?
Notre Dame is in the Cotton Bowl Classic.
And what is the most, I'm hitting my standing desk, famous Brian Kelly bowl gift? Ty, we could get Brian Kelly in boots again.
Oh, no.
We could get Sun Bowl Brian Kelly. Isn't that where he wore them?
Oh, God. Not the boots.
We could get Sun Bowl Brian Kelly.
He already did
a rap pose like a month and a half ago, right?
He kind of
Brian Kelly's not above posing.
Well,
showing out.
We don't know that for sure because the Cotton Bowl Classic would not disclose. It was the only bowl in typical Notre Dame fashion. They're in the one bowl game that would not disclose what the gifts are.
This is almost a corollary of Jimbo Fisher doing Texas things from our Fantasy Things draft.
Yes.
Where he was introduced and he had boots and he had a cowboy hat and he was on a horse. If we get Brian Kelly in boots, I'm going to freak the F out, Ty. I cannot wait to see what happens because they always do these introductory press conferences, a few days ahead of time. They're doing Texas stuff. I don't know what it's going to involve, but I am just pointing out we could have Brian Kelly in boots 2018.
So we had a lot of folks who wrote into me.
Mm-hmm.
More than one, when I say a lot.
Yeah.
A handful of folks write into me to ask if we would kindly put the names of the bowls that we are reviewing in the description. We can do that.
And to that we say nay.
We can do that.
Oh, okay.
We could do that. Can't guarantee we could do the timestamp thing for every show, but certainly we could put the names of the bowls that we're previewing, or at least the range of bowl games that we're previewing in our description. Apologies if you're waiting for that and it hasn't happened yet. We'll do that. Also, as we've been mentioning here countless times, I feel, we will be doing 2 shows a week through the end of the college football season. So Wednesday, Sunday. Next week may be a bit of a different schedule. And the week after, maybe a bit of a different schedule, given the fact that we've got holidays to contend with. But nonetheless, you can find 2 shows a week. If you're going to be traveling,
yes, we'll be there.
The bus, train, car, plane, wherever you're going to be, there will be shows for you to listen to. So keep it tuned right here, solidverbal@gmail.com, as always, is our email. If you got something to say, please let us know. We've had myriad folks write in talking about the playoffs and what their ideal setup would be. A lot of really cool emails coming in, so please do keep that up. We love to hear from people. And
Bill Hancock sent us a note.
I know,
he has
incredible.
An ideal setup.
Incredible.
And it is nonsensical. Have you done your holiday Christmas shopping? Are you all set with that?
No, we're close to it, actually.
Are you an in-person shopper?
I'm usually an online shopper, but given the fact that it's sort of been a weird year, as has been previously discussed,
for sure,
I think it's going to be more of an in-person situation this year.
an in-person situation.
Yeah, because
So you're going to go and really put a lot of thought and visual effort into it.
that's right. The 2-day free shipping might be right up against
Cutting
its
it close.
limit. Yeah, given the fact that it's pretty late in the game here. So I think I'm gonna have to
Does
go out.
Solid Wife Kate listen to the show?
No, God no. You kidding me?
Is she in your house right now?
She's not.
So what are we thinking? Just
I can't
between
give
you
that
and me and
away.
everybody.
I can't give that away. No.
Are you a jewelry guy?
This year we could be.
Ooh.
We could be. Yeah. I don't
Is
know.
she a jewelry person?
Only if it's the right kind of jewelry.
Okay, good answer. Are you a jewel? Have you been gifted jewelry ever?
I think someone gave me a necklace once.
Whoa,
Yeah, it might have been my grandmother when I was in like
Okay.
2nd grade. Yeah.
that's understandable.
Yeah.
Okay, any other? So, who else is receiving gifts? So you got a big family.
We do have a big family. No, I mean all sides of the family. Mama
H listens. Don't say anything wrong here.
I won't say anything wrong, but I have procured Mama H's gift. She hasn't
Nice.
Yeah, we've got Mama H's gift.
How proud are you of this year's gift as compared to previous year's gift? Out of a
Proud
10
of it?
scale? Yeah, you're like, oh, she's gonna love this.
I'm proud that I was early in purchasing it.
Okay.
Usually my hair is on fire trying to get all the gifts in working order before, the big day. So the fact that I was this early with this gift is really a watershed moment for me personally. But beyond that, we've got a big family to contend with here.
Walk me, because if you don't remember your solid verbal lore,
Right.
I believe you proposed to now Solid Wife Kate on Christmas Day,
Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve. So this is a big holiday for you.
It is a big holiday. No, we'll do the 7 fishes at Mama H's.
I've done that before. As somebody who doesn't even celebrate Christmas, I've partaken in that.
Do
It's
the
pretty good.
7 fishes on Christmas Eve, which is always a bit of an event.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking forward to that.
Are you guys doing that? The honey drizzled sprinkle little circle things?
Honey
You know what
I have no idea what that is.
Oh my gosh, Ty, Chris, I'm looking it up right now. I'll tell you. Oh, they were pretty good. They're very sweet.
Honey drizzled what?
So they're like little balls, and they're covered. It's like a honey drizzled balls, and they have those. They're not sprinkles, but they're those little dots, those colorful dots. Come on, Ty.
Drawing a blank. What are they called?
I'm looking right now. Christmas dessert, honey drizzled. That's not helping much. And there appears to be a woman who goes by. Oh, there they are. Strufoli, an Italian Christmas classic. Struffoli.
No, I've had those before, but I
Right.
don't think they're going to be part of the festivities.
They're almost like tiny little donut holes. They're like an
Little
even
donut.
smaller donut hole.
Yeah, they're like little pieces of dough. Yeah.
They're pretty good. Okay, so you're doing the 7 fishes. Are you opening presents under a tree Christmas morning, Christmas Eve?
Not sure
Combo?
yet. Actually, it's usually Christmas Eve's the big one on Mama H's side.
You know what I've discovered, Ty? Because I'm super into everything about Christmas other than Christmas.
Right.
I'm into it. There's a Spotify Christmas cocktail jazz playlist.
Okay.
Ty, it is killer.
Yeah.
Listen to that. I'll light up a candle, do some crossword puzzles, throw on the Christmas cocktail jazz. Ty, it's a great old man moment.
So listen, Dan.
Listen.
We've got another show to do before Christmas.
Okay, fine. I'll save some of my Christmas
We need
takes.
to save some of this hashtag content for that show because
Hashtag Christmas Outsider.
that's right. Hashtag Christmas Outsider coming your way.
Yeah.
Next show on the Sunday show. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So
I
just
have so many questions.
keep that. We can do all of these questions.
Okay.
I'd rather talk about these than
The McCall offense.
That's
Okay.
right. All right. Well, thank you for bearing with us here on the program. We'll be back on Sunday, talk more college football, preview the playoffs, talk a little Christmas, talk some holiday spirit, what have you. solidverbal@gmail.com. Hit us up. Let us know what's on your mind. In the meantime, for that guy over there in beautiful New York City, for myself, Ty Hildenbrand over here at Eastern PA. Thanks again for tuning in. Stay solid.
Peace.